Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special meeting on October 8th, 2024. It's Brian Irvin's 40th birthday. This will be our last council meeting for this term. Good luck to all the candidates running in the next election. It's gonna be great.
Thank you.
We have good thing I don't do this anymore. We have an amendment to the agenda, which is an in-camera item. So could I have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. The item on our council meeting tonight is the RFQ 2024-01 Watson Lake Cemetery infill. I will read. Well, as per our discussion from the previous meeting, we had a single bidder for cemetery work to be done. We asked administration to go back and ask for some negotiated context. Maybe administration can fill us in on what you can disclose as per those negotiations.
Yeah, so we asked the consultant, our consultant to go back and negotiate, to see, she knew what her budget number was, we didn't disclose that to KPIs. So she went back and asked about reducing, the timbers, the markers, those type of things off of it, because by her estimate, that would bring the price down. And then, she provided us a price, and then we went back with a question about, well, what's gonna mark each one of those graves? So that's when they came back with another revision, which brought it back up to, the final submitted price was $99,075. It's under our budget. It's gonna do everything. They can start tomorrow. And some of the work might have to be completed in the spring, depending on how the season goes here, but we might have a run. But we talked about maybe not doing the hydro seeding until the spring. Based on weather conditions, but that'll play out based on the weather for over the next few weeks, month. But that will give us our thoughts, and they will all be surveyed, and we can move forward with this. Okay, if council wishes.
Any comments from council?
Thank you for that update. I still just have like a moral objection, but I didn't realize that that's not. Anyway. Danina?
Yeah, I mean, we have 7 reserve plots, we do need plots, so. It's okay, I mean, we are within budget, which helps.
And sorry to interrupt, your worship, correction to my last comment, the last meeting. This isn't a gas tax funded project, it's a funded with their own funds, and we went back and looked at the capital budget.
And you had said last time that we're paying as the work is done, right? So we're not.
Yeah, it's based on, your worship, it's based on progress payments, based on work.
Right.
Yeah. So if work isn't completed, that money isn't paid out, then we'll be able to correct it. But the big thing is the initial part, which is the surveying and that work, which I believe, having spoken with Mr. Peters yesterday morning in person, I have full faith that that work will be completed. Well, as soon as we can get it going before freeze up.
That was gonna be my question, is just like, I know it's not guaranteed, but just. Cause if we give them that work, then I wanna make sure at least the plots are done by this year, because that's the whole goal, right? And I just didn't know how we can guarantee that will get done.
Yeah, and I agree, your worship, it's a risk, but it's based on weather related. He's got the crew that was ready to go to work on Monday on this project, now we're into Wednesday. So it's just in the long range forecast is looking good now for the next couple of weeks. So I'm optimistic that we will get everything done. The alternative really is that if we don't go ahead with this, it's not gonna get done, period.
Yeah, no, for sure, we do number clock.
So administration couldn't take it upon themselves to find a surveyor if they absolutely had to, or?
It's been really struggling. We finally got a surveyor in last week to do some of the easement work and some of the other work that we've been pushing for months on. And those are straightforward ones. The cemetery is more in depth because it's doing, 8 foot or 10 by whatever the dimensions are, 6 by 10 or whatever the plots, so it's a lot more detailed in the work.
Is there local engineers or anybody that can do that kind of work?
There is not. So it all's way over space and everybody's pushing to get their year-end survey work done is what we've been told.
So that would just be my concern is that. If we, as a municipality, can't find a surveyor to do that kind of work. A private contractor. With no references and a bad history of work can get a survey.
I'm not sure. All we can do is we put up the RFP with the restrictions and all the things in and we can monitor it.
And we're sure that the company is like insurance and.
Yeah,
All that
they have
stuff.
all that, they have to present all those documents which they have in the past, so. I agree with Councillor Hanchard, there's a moral dilemma there, but there'd be more of a moral dilemma if we don't have plots for somebody to need to.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good, but I understand what you're saying, that we need the work done and, I think given the fact that you are pretty sure that it's gonna be done immediately, like before total freeze up, I'm guessing, I'm a little bit more willing to vote in favor of this, but yeah, just still, I'll have my same apprehension as last meeting.
Well, and I have the same apprehension with a lot of contractors this time of year trying to get work done. And we got the infrastructure stuff, they're aiming for the end of the month. But looking at what's left on the plate, I honestly don't think the end of the month is a reasonable date. But those are the dates they give us and those are the dates we can, all that we can do is wait on Mother Nature and what's before us, but, yeah, unfortunately, this is the only option on the table right at the moment, and as we showed you, there's been a minimum of 16 other companies approached to do this work. And we only have one.
Is there any sensitivities to the work, like if the work is rough and it's, not taken. Done appropriately, is there concerns with that or?
Well, I haven't had concerns or don't have concerns because there's a work area that isn't where the current graves are, right? It's in between
Okay.
where the old roadways were. So there's sensitive areas and we'll be very clear with them and that risk hasn't crossed my mind.
Cause there would be, in my mind, some sensitivities if you're plotting around existing.
Yeah.
Graves with people's remains, that's very sensitive, and if you don't get the right people in there, it's very concerning. Just like you did say the word yourself, it's risk, and I don't really like that with.
There's risk with no matter who we have.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's why I asked at last council meeting if the equipment was the right size to be able to fit in that space.
Yeah,
for
it
that
is, yeah.
reason. And this will open up how many sites for us, how many river sites?
It was, I wanna say 100.
But that's like some pure burial sites and some cremation.
Exactly. Yeah, it's,
I mean, they're, cremation sites.
I could do a count, but that's all it would be is a count. I think.
No, but I mean, you have a guesstimate, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
So it would be a long time before we would have to do this again.
I would hopefully
Yeah.
not have to address it in the rest of my career.
I would also just ask that, make sure that the RFP includes the work to be done before payment. It's
So it's satisfactory.
of administration because. Due to this client's history, you agreed to a contract, whether the work is 100% or not, there could be legal implications if. Legal implications are very likely if this doesn't go perfectly.
And would you, Pam, be the one that's monitoring the work then?
We be our consultant along with, our director of operations or myself, yeah.
Okay.
So to answer your other question, casket burial plots at 176. Family burial, spots 48. And cremated remains burial of 100 plots, so approximately at our current rate, it's 25 plus years. of
Yeah, that's great.
development.
That's great.
Need a motion.
I will move that we accept the revised quote and scope of work received from TPI Northern in the amount of $99,075. The completion of the Watson Lake Cemetery infill development project. Against
Your moral
judgment.
Thank you, Councillor Hanchar.
Can we add to that at all, like when?
What are you?
What you were saying, Chris, kind of thing? We add some sort of like anything in respect to the work, or is that already?
Fire hall, okay. You see them there? They'd be in the main building, Sergeant, in the front of the heart of public works. Oh, okay. So where is my 6:30? 6:30. Oh.
Can we add anything about, well, like what you were saying, Chris, about there being pretty stringent, or is that something
It's
that?
covered in the tender documents.
Perfect,
Sorry, you second.
and I'll second it there.
Thank you.
All in favor? Carried. Please be diligent in working with API Northern. With the taxpayers' money, it's not even gas tax.
I know, it's a tough one.
I would also ask that we have at least one reference, that should be a standard.
Yeah,
For our future like, I know it's tough. All these tenders are tough when nobody wants to do it, but. It's just like hiring anybody, you know? If you're not worth hiring, don't hire. You know that it puts us in a sticky position, but
Is that in the procurement policy? I don't remember.
I imagine, well, not for.
their application, it just said no references.
Yeah,
No, I just wondered if there was something about references in the procurement.
I think it's requested, but I don't think it's mandatory.
Right.
okay. We'll move on to some good news. Number 3 on our agenda is the municipal officer designation. Johan Madura, the Director of Finance, we just need a motion to accept him as the new finance officer. You want to read this? Yeah. Okay. Deals.
I will move that we designate Johan Madeira as our municipal officer.
Thank you, Councillor Hanchar.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councillor Burris.
Yes.
All in favor? Carried. Now we do have a camera item, so if I could have a motion to go into camera. Motion to go into camera.
Thanks, motion to go to camera.
Thanks, Councillor Paquette.
Thank you.
Hi, Patrick, can you lock the outside door on your way out? You have a key? Thank you.
Yeah, moved. Who seconded?
Dina, I think.
No, she made it.
Oh, I'll second. She's on camera.
Yeah.
Okay, I said it.
Pause.
Make a motion to come out of camera.
All in favor? Final adjournment,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
all in favor?
Once again, in the slice.
All right. Those